Keep going.
Thank you very much.
The end of the 1998 World Cup finals in France and the end of Jimmy Hill's 50th season in professional football. For 20 years he was a player and a manager. The other 30 he became most famously a football pundit, a job he invented and one for which, even at 70, he was still somehow perfectly adapted.
He said to me, who's your favourite player? I said, well, it's Pele. Pele. I said, well, who's yours? He said, well, me, isn't it, me? And he means it. I mean, he lacks a bit of confidence. He said, Pele may have scored 2,000 goals at the highest level, but that's all he did.
I've often been in a situation where I'm typing a script out for the show and there's a bit of a deadline, and Jimmy will come up to you and he say, I was on the third the other day at the Berkshire and I've got this putt for 20 feet and I've got, and I say, yeah, Jim, in a sec, because must knock this out. No, but you see, I've got to tell you, because my grip, you see, my grip was round that way and I've pulled it round and I've sunk it and I'm 3 under after 5.
Let me tell you, just let me finish, the statistics of those open goal chances, and if you put your arm up, you risk having a penalty. If I'd have been the manager, and all of a sudden, with Gascoigne looking as if he'd been rejuvenated, suddenly an unfit man who was playing no part mentally as well as physically became a dynamo. What, 20 minutes was it? Yeah. I mean, in 600 seconds of football, he got those two chances.
That's 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's 10 minutes. Well, yeah, but he was I do know that at times on television, people viewing me get a false impression, I think, of what I really am.
The standard caricature of Jimmy Hill doesn't depict him as a father of 5, nor a wedding artist, the veteran of 3 marriages. And in football he's better known now as a talker than a doer. Yet many features of the modern game owe themselves to Hill, who always was ambitious.
I would like to be a dictator and manage all 92 league clubs and make the directors do what is good for the game in the future. I think that would be marvellous.
Hill grew up in South London. Like so many small boys, his head was filled with dreams of sport and dictatorship. He played football for his school and the boys' brigade, encouraged by his mother and his father, a baker. In 1950, after national service, he was able to avoid becoming a stockbroker by signing for 2nd Division Brentford. These weren't lucrative times for a professional footballer. Hill earned £7 a week and, in the absence of a multi-million-pound shampoo contract, picked up extra money as a chimney sweep.
There is an art, an art in chimney sweeping, just as there is in trying to score a goal for Brentford. But I knew more about one than I knew about the other, and there were times when we got the damn thing stuck. Go like this and go, and in June or July, sweat pouring off us. But it was all part of the insecurity that I felt as a professional footballer, because the day, we were all frightened of the day, when the day would come when you no longer could earn your living from those skills. And then what do you do after that?
Hill, perhaps unsurprisingly, disagreed with his manager at Brentford and was transferred to Fulham, where he continued to hone skills which would later prove useful.
So while Hill tries to tell the referee his job, and no doubt will be spoken to by the referee for that bit of nonsense from Jimmy Hill, teeing it up for Haynes.
This was a golden phase for Fulham. Hill played and argued with referees alongside the great Johnny Haynes, George Cohen and Bobby Robson.
Jimmy, like, he was always demanding and asking and talking for the ball and shouting for the ball. And he was, I think, shouting to Georgie Cohen about to give him the ball. And a wag in the terrace shouted, you know, when the rabbi asks for the ball, give it to him. So, yeah, he had a nickname.
Rabbi. Yeah. That's the classic Josephals, wasn't it? Give it to the Rabbi Cohen. We had Georgie Cohen playing right fullback for us. The crowd used to say, give it to the Rabbi Cohen.
And a lovely pass to Haynes, now to Hill. And Haynes to Key, and a lovely move by Fulham. And a goal! Oh, what a mistake by Dunlop.
With respect, he wasn't a great technical player, but he was a very hard-working player. He was tremendously fit. Jimmy could cover every metre of grass in 90 minutes, and 3 times over. He loved to score goals. which he did from time to time, and when he did score goals, I mean, you couldn't touch him.
Chamberlain for Fulham, the side that has created this sensation by rattling the cup holders and now leading, now drawing 3-all. Chamberlain getting through. It goes, there's Jezard! It's a goal! It's Fulham have taken the lead! It's Jimmy Hill! 16 minutes to go!
You weren't, if you don't mind me saying, the greatest player in the world, but you're not bothered about slagging everyone else off, are you?
I suppose now he's looked upon as the elder statesman, but every so often he will come up with a couple of lines that make people think, hang on, didn't we think this fellow was past it? No, he's not.
You would play an injured player?
No, I would go with him, and I think that the players would feel that even a half-fit Ronaldo might do something. As
a manager,
particular touch.
would you put an injured man on the field to start any game?
Yep. If it was Ronaldo, yes. Or a player like him, yes, I would.
And if he's got a point to make, he doesn't waver off it. He will push and push and push and say, sorry, but that's what... Actually, he probably won't say sorry. That is what I think. And he'll stick with it.
That's a £30 million player and a risk of damaging an ankle that might ruin his whole career.
There's no more important game, is there, than a World Cup final?
Does that mean you write off his career at his age?
I don't think he would even think that about writing off his career. Now, but if you're the manager, you're
taking an enormous risk. The manager what is the benefit? You tell me what the benefit is, having watched that half.
Obviously there isn't.
Tell me what the benefit
Obviously
is.
there isn't.
He lifted his foot up and let the ball come, so he damaged his own goalkeeper.
He wouldn't have left that go on purpose there, Jim. I mean, there's no way
Well,
he's
you
going to
saw
have
it as well as I did.
No, but I don't think he let it go. I mean, he's not going to let it go, hope the goalkeeper's going to get it. He misjudged it.
What is taking your foot out of the way of it?
No, I don't think he did. I'd be getting a taxi the next day and the taxi drivers would say, oh, that was good last night, or why did he say that? You really don't like that Jimmy Hill, do you? And I used to say, yeah, I do, actually. I do. No, you don't. No, you don't like him. I say, no, I really do like... You don't like... All right, I don't like him. He said, I knew you didn't. I mean, they just didn't like the idea of us getting on well.
The public love two so-called pundits falling out with each other, especially if they do it reasonably well, not idiotically, you know, but nevertheless passionately. The way he says passion, you know, I'm sure some of the ladies watching at home will get quite the wrong meaning from that, but I know exactly what you mean.
What do you know about passion?
Says, well, I know when he says it, it's quite enticing.
It reminds you, does it?
It reminds me of days gone by.
Long time ago.
That was his biggest weakness, women.
Women. Every woman was a film star to him.
Well, finally, Miss Raquel Welch. I'm sure that you will have known that during the week she's been talking about her liking for football and her admiration in particular for Chelsea. So it's a bit of a scoop for the big match because we've brought them together, and who should be the lucky fella who can do it for us? Of course, Jimmy Hill.
He's trying to stop the goalkeeper coming out one way, and in the end you see he makes him kick it off his weak foot. So he makes the goalkeeper go the way.
I see that. Well, I didn't know.
I
didn't understand that strategy. But see now that shows you where you have to have brains, doesn't it?
But it's just thought in the middle of the game.
I mean,
this is a women's lib program now. The first woman to appear ever on our program.
I'm not women's lib. If the women's lib knew what the hell they were doing, they'd be down here watching this game and enjoying it. Watching all these lovely men doing, you know, wonderful athletic things.
I enjoy women's company. I love flirting with them. Why not? But not dangerously these days. So you get the benefit of the flirting without the consequences, which tend to be very embarrassing.
I think she's wonderful, don't you? I think all the girls are wonderful. And could we cheer the losers, because we're not used to losing in Coventry, but we do feel very sorry for them.
Jimmy Hill, see all, hear all, and know all. An expert on this, an expert on that, and an expert on the other.
Jimmy Hill is a man of action. He needs to be fit, and fitness and leisure meet in horse riding. He took it up only a year ago. He bought a horse, was taught by an expert, and promptly rode to hounds. Like everything else he does it well.
I said to him, what we want to do, Jimmy, is find you a nice little horse. As you can go, well, I found one I happened to have it in the yard, which all dealers do, you know. And when Jimmy went out,
he wanted to win. And when we went hunting, we had to be first. Nobody else could beat us. Once or twice, he jumped on the back of me, you know, and I turned around and gave him a bit of language. Whoops! It was always, whoops, sorry, Ted. I said, for God's sake, keep it back a bit. Just give a couple of lengths, you know, but not Jimmy. He'd keep going, you know. He'd keep coming up there in case he get left, in case he got lost, you know.
I love being in the country. As someone who was born in Balham, you know, middle of London, and not knowing really what a farm was, or you know, about horses in any kind of way, it was a magical experience for me to follow Ted over fences.
1974, and Hill, in the yellow, approaches the first at Aintree.
All right. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Steady.
Not for the first time, Jimmy Hill is about to get carried away.
Steady, boy. Mind out. Whoa. Steady, boy. Steady, boy. Steady, lad. Steady, boy. Steady. Steady, steady. Steady, lad. Steady, boy. Steady, lad. Come on. Whoa. Steady, boy.
In 1994, Hill called Eric Cantona despicable for a stamping incident. What Alex Ferguson called Jimmy Hill made bigger news.
He called me a prat. And I know only too well, what really upset me about it was that I know only too well the pressure he's under. Even a winning manager is under pressure, and especially during those moments after the game.
We have Jimmy Hill! He's a poo! He's a poo!
It's very strange, you know, it's really changed over the years, you know, because at the start there was a real antagonism towards Jimmy Hill, you know. His attitude towards the Scots really was, you know, dismissive, was being positive about it, I think.
I look upon Scotland as part of the British Empire, as it were. You know, I was brought up as a kid and we had all that pink on the map, and we used to look and say, isn't it marvellous, you know, look, we own all this. It's gradually receded as the years have gone on, but I hope that Scotland's still with us. And the same with Ireland. And that isn't just affectation. That's the way I was brought up as a kid.
I mean, people are very black and white about Jimmy. There's no grey. You know, you either like James or you on the box, I mean, or you don't like James, you know.
When you could call me opinionated is when I'm involved in a subject about which I'm absolutely certain I'm right. Yeah, and then you could say I'm very stubborn and won't be shifted and will use any argument that I can find to prove a case. That was fortunate, you know, for Alan Shearer, highest paid footballer probably in the country at the moment, that I was as stubborn on one particular case, and that was getting rid of the maximum wage.
Do you think you'll ever play for England?
Don't know, I can't tell really.
Are you hoping to?
Oh, I'd like to, yeah.
What would you be doing if you weren't going to be playing football all your life?
Oh, I have no idea. It's all I can do.
As a youngster, I was maybe 17, just signed professional. Came the time when the maximum wage was abolished, of which Cliff Lloyd and Jimmy Hill were big players. Well, the two main players in that.
Mr. Jimmy Hill is president of the Professional Footballers Association.
Mr. Hill, how many members are there of the Football Players Association of which you are the chairman?
About 2,500.
Does that cover all the players in the Football League?
Pretty well, all of them, I should think.
There was a feeling of being serfs. Yeah, there was a feeling of being manipulated, and you were lesser people than those that were employing you.
I can go into a theatre, and with my name on a bill, I can draw the crowds. But a footballer has to have 10 people helping him. And remember, the people that run football make nothing at all out of it. I would say that my football costs me personally about £5,000 a year.